If you're seeing this, it means I'm dead. Tired because I'm away on paternity leave with our second baby, who will have been born in the last day, 2 days, 3 days. I have no idea when you're seeing this, but I figured while I'm gone, we could do a little candid studio tour because so many of you guys constantly ask how the magic happens, how this works, and what the setup looks like from my perspective when we're making videos or streaming, whatever else. So that's what we're doing. As you can probably tell, this is super janky. I have you in a little camera that I am going to just, I suppose, move around as we do this, and hopefully you can still hear whatever I'm saying or describing. And yeah, this might work. This might end up really crappy. I don't know. I don't do this ever. So we're experimenting together. But first, a thank you to our sponsor, Raid Shadow. I'm kidding. We don't have a sponsor. I guess just to begin, let me show you how things look from my end. So this is the setup. That is the LG Ultra Wide that they sent me. It's a huge bummer. This thing is massive. This is 45 inches diagonally. It is a monstrosity, and it's amazing. It's an OLED monitor. It's phenomenal. I love it dearly, but the problem is it's ultra wide. So the aspect ratio is really wide, meaning if I record any gameplay footage, if I stream using it, anything, there's huge black bars on the top and bottom for the regular 16:9 aspect ratio that you're seeing this video in. It just doesn't really work. Like Jacob, right now, put in black bars at the top and bottom just so people can see what I'm talking about. It looks cinematic, but inevitably people start to ask, why is it cropped in? Like, what? It seems like I'm seeing less of the picture. In reality, you're seeing more because it's a wider field of view, but it just causes more problems than it's probably worth. Even though I love playing games on it, I just don't think it's practical for recording videos and streaming regularly. I think the 16:9 aspect ratio is just a better fit. It's a big bummer because I love that thing, but it works really well as like a movie monitor. If I'm playing like Diablo 4, I can have Lord of the Rings playing on the top screen in its full like 21:9 aspect ratio for the special edition, whatever, and it's awesome. So it's the best of a bad situation, but it is a bummer I can't use it as my main monitor. First world problems, right? The next thing you'll see is the main monitor right there. That's just a 16:9 4K 144 hertz BenQ monitor that they sent me. It's great. Actually, none of the monitors you see in here I paid for. They just sent them to me, which is very generous. These two are both BenQ 32-inch 4K monitors, and this is, of course, the LG 45. As for the speakers, these are Kef LS50 Mark IIs. They're phenomenal speakers. They have like a bunch of smart features in them as well, so you don't have to have them connected directly to a computer or anything. You can just like beam music from your phone, and they are tremendous. And actually, little known fact about the studio, these also route out all the way over to a subwoofer, which is down there. We've got a big, like, I think it's just an 8-inch, but a big 8-inch subwoofer. So when I'm playing games like off stream, I will often play it with the speakers, with the heavy bass booming from the subwoofer, and it's awesome. My wife gets mad at me sometimes because it like can go all the way through the ceiling because we're in the basement, and so the sound can penetrate to upstairs and even outside at times if I'm really cranking it. But I like it. It feels awesome. Beyond that, tucked away back here is my Valaha. I think it's the Valaha 2. Yeah, Valaha 2 amp for headphones. It's a tube amplifier for headphones. I, as you can probably tell, like high quality audio. So that thing, all it does is it uses tube amps to basically amplify, as you would expect from an amp, the audio for headphones so you can power more potent headphones, such as these. These are the A30s, which I'll get to in a second, but those right there are HD 600s, I think it's listed on the side. Yeah, HD 600s. Great headphones, but you do need some juice to power them, but they get the job done. Oh yeah, behind it, there is what's called a vertipole that goes all the way across. And you can see the two cameras are mounted on top of the vertical. I even had to take down that sound dampening foam because it was kind of bumping into that cable there. The pole is awesome. It's great. I actually have another one up there that I'll get to in just a little bit. But they basically just allow you to cram stuff in places where they wouldn't normally go. And it works way better than having like a big tripod that you try to cram back there. It just doesn't really work. And the other perk of having this vertipole, whatever it's called, is that the cameras are independent from the desk. So say I like pound the desk, it doesn't shake the cameras, which is a pet peeve of mine from other YouTubers and streamers when they hit the table or something, or they bump into it with their chair and then the cameras rattle, like that. I cannot stand that. But this fixes that problem. As for other stuff, of course, we have the Go XLR. That's very dirty because I talk right in front of it for hours on end. Should have wiped it clean, but what are you going to do? I probably should have cleaned up in here more. I don't think it's that bad, but I said candid. This is what you get. You get what you pay for, right? What else? I didn't come up with a script or outline for this. We're just kind of going by ear. This is my main gaming PC. This is from Apex Gaming PCs. Tremendous build. It's been just wonderful. It's outrageously powerful. That's a drawing from my son Lachlan, who you can also see there. He is adorable. We have our 16 times the detail mug and Proud Skeptic mug behind it, always available and ready. And next to those, we also have the Astro A50s headphones, which are great. However, they've started to show some signs of wear and tear because I've used them for years and years and years. And that's actually what these are for. These are currently the replacement. Logitech sent these over. We have a whole partnership with them for these headphones, and I'm really impressed by them. So those are going to be retired soon because they've seen many a greasy hair day for sure. This head, or this skull, by the way, this is funny. I got that, long story short, got an Etsy gift card. It was like $50 on Etsy. I used the gift card, so I didn't actually pay out of pocket anything because there's a customer service thing where they gave me store credit. It's a long story. I've got stream clips about that. But people will come into stream all the time and ask, is that a real human skull? Is that real? Is that a person? Who is that? And the running joke, so in case you're newer to the channel and to the stream, the running joke is that that's my Grandma Sue. All I ever say when somebody comes in and says, is that a real human skull? I always just say, yeah, no, it's Grandma Sue. And then I move on to the next comment, and we just keep it going. So if you're ever in chat and that happens, roll with it, okay? It's really funny watching people get really weirded out that I just have a human cranium sitting on top of a gaming PC. But you know what? If you're gullible enough to believe that, then I think we get to have a little fun at your expense. Maybe that's not okay of me, but it's all in good fun. What's the harm? Oh yeah, some of you might notice my Gaming Nexus coasters, by the way. These are phenomenal quality from the team over at Gaming Nexus, themed around computer parts. Love them. Love those guys. Great work and great coasters too. What else do we have? Oh yeah, I guess this thing, people have asked about this. This is a little aux switcher. This is not something I would normally recommend, but I've got it heavily insulated. But basically this lets you swap between audio inputs, or rather outputs. So audio can come out of the Go XLR, route all the way over to this thing, and then this can route out either to that pair of headphones, to this amp, or to the speakers, all while simultaneously sending itself out to the streaming PC, which is under there. And this is the look at the rat's nest of cables you're going to get. It is a nightmare, and I'm just going to be real with you. I've tried. I've pulled everything out from behind this. I've rewired the whole thing with zip ties, with Velcro ties, with everything. I can never get this thing cable managed in any sort of reasonable way. I don't know if there's too much going on to reasonably cable manage it, or more likely, I just suck at this. If there's anybody out there really good at cable management who has tips and tricks, let me know, because it's a rat's nest down there. But you know what? It's at this point I just can't do much about it. it's a lost cause. One of the other cool things about the studio, you'll notice all the lights right now are just the overhead lights. These are actually Philips Hue lights, so I can control those through the Steam Deck and go like Tokyo is what this program's called, or I can just dim them if I'm just working down here responding to emails, or I can go full brightness, which is fine. But whenever I'm streaming or making videos, I don't actually use that. What I do is I turn them all off, so it looks like this, and then it's gonna raise the eye, so it's gonna look terrible. But what I do is I then say, Alexa, turn on studio. Right? Right? Is that not kind of cool? So all of these lights, yeah, thank you, Alexa. All of these lights, everything in the studio is hooked up to smart switches that control pretty much everything. So when I tell Alexa to turn on the studio, it not only turns on the cameras, but it also turns on the lights. It turns on...
I'm having trouble hearing.
I know.
Can you say that again?
Alexa, stop. It also turns on the LEDs and even that light over there. And funnily enough, the chargers, the DualSense whatever, Edge, I think it is, that is plugged into the thing, as well as my Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, which means that they only get charged whenever the studio's on, but that's actually intentional because you don't actually want constant power flowing to them. It kills the batteries, so it's generally advised that you don't do that. But the perk of all of this is that when I'm here to do work in the studio, I can turn on the big lights and it's go time, and then when it's time for me to just relax or not literally be under the heat of the lights, because these things do get hot, I can shut it down and just go back to the regular lights. But that's why, like, people think that I always have the lighting like really cinematic and stuff, and I don't. This is abnormal. Okay, technically it's more like the video started in terms of lighting. Speaking of the lights, these are Amaran lights. Let me rotate it, don't get motion sick. These are 100Ds. The D just means daylight. That's all it means. So if you have the 100D, it means that it's going to put out a daylight temperature. I think it's 54, maybe actually I think it's 5600 Kelvin is the warmth of the light. And that's fine if you use all 100Ds or 200Ds. The number means how powerful the light is. For a space this big, you really don't need anything more than 100. But as long as you're using similar white balance, you should be fine. It's when people start mix and matching that they have problems. This thing is the alternative, which is the 100X, and that X, you end up paying like $50 more, but it means that you can customize the temperature of the light, make it a little warmer, a little cooler, whatever you prefer. We have the hair light here, and then we have the little black or back light, which is colored with an amber gel, and that is actually tied to that little bulb. And you'll notice that they're both very similar colors, and that's intentional because what I want you to see from the main camera, I want you to see the warm light lighting my face, but I want you to see that little bulb on the side, so your brain thinks that it's being lit by that little bulb, when in reality that thing would not light the side of my face from that far away, especially under these other lights. This thing is doing all the heavy lifting. What else? I mean, of course, collector's edition statues, Flying Spaghetti Monster, Titanic, Hogwarts Castle. I want to stress this because people, I think, have gotten this twisted. I don't actually spend a ton of money on Legos. I would love to, but the Hogwarts Castle was actually a gift from my best buddy, my best friend, who I've known since early high school. He got it for me for Christmas one year, and then the next year I got him the Lego Coliseum. It's just kind of like a big dick measuring contest in terms of Legos. But he got me that, and then a very generous contributor and sort of sponsor of the channel, somebody who helps keep it going, Sean, he actually donated the funds for the Lego Titanic, which we built on stream. It was awesome. I think that was last summer towards the end. And fun fact, over here on the Titanic, I told Sean I would do this. I don't know if I've shown it officially in a video, but right here is Sean. I put a little Lego figurine of Sean, so he's always on the ship. which I just kind of like the touch of that. I don't know why. I found the little minifigure. I think it was actually part of the Hogwarts set, but I moved it over there, and it's Sean. As for the Lego Pyramid of Giza, people ask me all the time where I got the Assassin's Creed Origins Lego set. It's not Assassin's Creed Origins, it's just Egypt, so there's that. Elden Ring, Collector's Edition, Cyberpunk, The Last of Us, Part 2, Horizon Forbidden West, The Order 1886, because I like that game. It just makes me feel good. And then, of course, we have Callisto Protocol. It's always funny. I will, get these collector's editions because the game looks really interesting to me. And sometimes the games are bangers. And other times, they're just kind of meh. They're just not great. And so then I'm left with a collector's edition for something like Callisto Protocol, which was fine. Other than the technical problems, it was fine. But it's not like a cool trophy collector's edition, It's kind of like a weird niche one that some people might know about. So it gets the bottom spot. But others, they get promoted and raised. Usually you can tell what I think of a game depending on where it is in the showcase or the glass cases. But, and the one you probably missed, I missed it, was the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Again, I didn't pay for that. Ubisoft sent it over. And you know what? It's nice of them. I gotta give them credit. I give Ubisoft so much crap all the time. A lot of it justified, I feel. And they still send me stuff. They still give me review codes. They still give me early access to preview events and stuff. They are one of the most thick-skinned groups that I've ever worked with. And, I've said nasty things about this, say, Bethesda Game Studios after Fallout 76, saying what they did was borderline criminal, that it was evil, they intentionally tried to defraud their customers. It was just horrible. And now BGS doesn't respond to my emails, and, that's a whole other thing. But Ubisoft, I called Assassin's Creed Valhalla a travesty, and they still send me stuff. So I think that's worth mentioning because it's kind of admirable. As for other stuff, I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anything. There's the AC unit. It actually goes and routes out that window well. So when it gets hot in here, I can blow cold air directly on me. It was a great investment because it gets really hot down here. Right now it's chilly because it's late at night. I just got that Asus ROG Ally. I've been playing around with that. Just got Diablo 4 installed. I haven't tested it yet. But Red Dead worked great on it. So did Elden Ring. So it looks like that's going to be replacing my Steam Deck. I also have the PS5, Xbox Series S, my old PS4 Slim with the Khaleesi sticker. Only OGs will remember Khaleesi. Rest in peace, my dear beloved bearded dragon. Oh, those were the days. And then wax melter because I like things smelling nice. Over here we've got books. We've got the new 52 whatever DC comic book series. I also have a NAS. The rat's nest of cables continues. But I have the modem, router, network switcher, the NAS. All of this stuff gets routed throughout the room. And again, between the two computers. So they always have the connectivity that they need. We don't have great internet where I live. We technically have the best plan that they can offer. But, the network switch really helps to keep everything flowing because I can prioritize connections. So, for example, we were having a ton of trouble with the stream randomly dropping out because Steam on my gaming PC would randomly be like, oh, here's an update to a game, and it would try to be helpful and install it, and it just would make things way, way worse. But once we got that network switch, we can actually go into those settings and just prioritize it. So we can say, nope, if there's a sustain load on this port of the switch, give that priority, and then if this thing pops up, push it down. It's not a priority. And I can even schedule it so during certain times it prioritizes certain ports on it. It's awesome. If you ever have problems like that or you're interested in streaming or whatever, get yourself a nice managed network switch. I promise you won't regret it. Other stuff, Blu-rays, books, art books. All that stuff is awesome. The cameras, I've mentioned this before, I guess I should just show you, All of the cameras I use are Sony A7S Mark IIs, and they, even this one I'm holding is a Sony A7S Mark II. Now, if you Google those cameras, they're going to show up as really expensive. All of the ones I use were bought like heavily used, mostly in photography, because when you buy used through some shops, you can see how many shutters have actually been, I guess, performed or whatever. So you can see if it was used for video or if it was used for photography. Cameras used for photography are much easier to use later in life for video, whereas video, like cameras that have been used for video, get beaten up, they get like it's super hot, they just wear down much faster. So all of these are pretty heavily used, and all of these I got probably for around $1,000, give or take $100, depending on which one. But on average, I think they each individually were about $1,000. And that's mainly because they're full frame cameras, which is great for low light scenarios like in a dark studio, and they support 1080p 60, and I can use my nice lens collection. I only have this one sitting out because I recently swapped it out, but this is just a Rokinon 20mm 1.8, and it's great for this setting. It doesn't have autofocus, it's only manual focus. It's not great for a lot of situations, but in the situation of sitting in a studio in the exact same space and place and orientation with the exact same lighting conditions every single time, it's fine. You don't need a fancy lens with crazy autofocus because you're always in this general area. So save a ton of money. Like this thing I think is like $250, whereas if you got this lens but with autofocus capabilities, it would be well over $1,000. So I heavily recommend look at what you actually need for the setup and do that instead of like overspending for stuff you don't technically need. Which is funny because I'm showing you a tour of like a very expensive YouTube studio I've built up over a long time, but what are you gonna do? Do as I say, not as I do. The microphone is a Shure SM7B. I've had that for years and years and years. I used to use an RE20. It just got really big, bulky, and I did some side-by-side tests when I was sick one week and I wasn't making videos, and I ended up just liking the sound of the Shure more, so I went back to using that. This Rode boom arm, I don't remember what it's called. Just look up Rode boom arm. It's phenomenal, way better than the one I had before. It actually holds its position. It is utterly tremendous. The desk mat is an XXXL, I believe. It's massive. This is actually an IKEA countertop that I put on top of some shelves or drawers, whatever these are, and it gets the job done. I mean, why spend $600 on a desk when you can spend like $200 on a countertop and drawers and then like a single leg stand back there? It's great. And oh, I guess this is kind of cool. All of those consoles I showed earlier, all of these over there, the Nintendo Switch, all of that, and the gaming PC, all of these route out with separate inputs to this HDMI switcher, and that just means that I can switch between inputs really quickly without needing separate capture cards. So if you ever see me on stream like showing my desktop and then I switch over and I'm like, okay, let's play a game on the PlayStation 5. All I have to do that is press one button on that switcher. It changes the switch, or that changes the input to that, to the streaming PC, to the capture card in that, and then we're just golden. Like it's ridiculous. It's super easy. And you'll notice there's a ton of stuff about this studio, like the audio switchers, the HDMI switchers, the lights being automated, all of this. It's built in a way to make the setup and set down and shut down just way more efficient. And I think, work smarter, not harder at the end of the day. Out of other things I haven't mentioned, that's a little SSD that's like a little beat up. It also is routed out to a USB-C, whatever, super fast speed cable. That is actually so I can hook that same cable up to my VR headset if I want to play VR games off of the gaming PC. That's the same cable. So again, why have two separate things when I can just constantly use the same stuff? What What else? Is there anything else? Oh, the chair. I just got a new chair from Herman Miller. Shout out to Herman Miller. It's an ergonomic chair. It's awesome, and I love it. Way better for my back. The keyboard is a Keychron Q6, I believe, with Red Panda switches. Great. And it also has their wood palm rest. Love that. My mouse is the G903. I've used it for years. I love it. The Razer just goes over to the streaming PC, so I have a mouse for that. And you'll notice I now currently only have one keyboard out. I do have two keyboards, but it depends on how much space I want to take up. I have an app called Synology, Synergy. It's just an app that basically lets you use one keyboard across multiple computers. Super easy. I just hit a macro on the keyboard. It's the circle button or the triangle button, and it swaps between the two PCs. So, like on stream, if I'm on my gaming PC and then I hit this button, I'll swap over to the streaming PC. I can type stuff into chat there, and then this button, and it goes back over to the gaming PC. Super, super easy. Again, working smarter, not harder, or at least trying to. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of to me, it seems like a simple setup, but I know this is way more complicated than most people's studios or Twitch setups or YouTube setups or whatever they're doing. But it's just something I've slowly built up over the years, and it really fits my needs and what I look to do with my videos really well. And so I don't really see it. Like, to me, it's just super effortless. I can just sit down when it's time to make a video or stream, say the magic words, the lights come on, the cameras come on, and then it's just go time. It's super, super easy. Everything's done through OBS. It's really not that complicated in terms of setup. I guess I could show you just so you are aware. I do have separate portable versions of OBS. Focus, come on. So there's actually 4 separate instances of OBS, which are set up as portable instances, which all that means is that every time you launch each individual icon, it's like a different instance. So you can have different settings, you can have different layouts, and every time you launch it, it's almost like it's running on a separate computer. It's awesome. Just look up how to run OBS in portable mode if you want to see how to do that. It's great because you can have a version of OBS just for recording TikToks, and then a version of OBS just for recording in ultra-wide aspect ratios, or a version of OBS just to stream, and then another version of OBS just to record main channel videos. And that's great because otherwise you'd have to go in and manually change resolution, frame rate, the encoding settings. So maybe you want to record your YouTube videos in 4K, but you want to stream in 1080p at a lower bit rate and record it at a lower bit rate while streaming. All of that's really complicated to do in one instance, whereas you can just make it all work together really easily with different instances of OBS. Just super, super easy. And you know what? There's probably a lot more that I could run through, like how we have the Synology NAS with another one set up actually in Jacob, the editor of all of these videos, home office. So they actually sync in real time. Whenever I record something here and I put it on that server, it immediately syncs to his server in another state, just without us having to do anything, send anything to each other. It just does it, so he can always have the most up-to-date footage on any game playthrough or anything I'm doing, which is just something we always wanted to do, but it was just prohibitively expensive. And then we made the investment, and it's been a godsend. I mean, it's just tremendous. But again, there's just so much I could continue showing you. I'm not sure how interesting it would be, but if you are interested in hearing, like, what's our process for making videos? What does that look like? How does it happen from the idea phase to when it actually gets uploaded and the thumbnails made? If you want to see kind of behind the scenes with that, just let me know in the comments and we can do that. That's no biggie. I just don't know if it would be interesting. So I guess let me know if that would be interesting. But I think that's gonna do it. I am sure I missed some stuff. I am not totally sure. I have cell phone chargers. I don't know. At this point, I really don't know. I think I ran through most of it, but if there's something I didn't get to, I guess leave a comment and we can try to get to it in the next one. I'm stumbling over my words. I'm going to go upload this so Jacob can work on it and go prepare to go have a baby. So thank you for watching. Much love. Hopefully my absence is not too agonizing. I'm sure you're making it through just fine without me, but I hope to be back streaming very soon. I will see you guys when that happens, And thank you for making all of this a reality, all of this possible. Never think I take it for granted. I really don't. I truly appreciate it. And I'm literally living the dream. I had dreams of doing this for a living, and now I'm doing it. It's literally a dream come true. So truly, thank you for all of the likes, the views, the shares, everything. It's very humbling. But until next time, much love. I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.